Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive into this emotional Nollywood level story, I beg do well hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and stay glued to this page. Stories like this one. It get layers. It's sweet, it get tension, it touch heart. Make yourself comfortable, relax your mind, because this gist is about Uche Nancy, Bryan, and a bittersweet mother-son moment you'll never forget. It all started on a seemingly normal Saturday afternoon. The kind of Saturday that makes you think, nothing special today, but if you know Nollywood, you know that's when the real drama usually begins. Uche Nancy, the actress whose calm exterior hides a fierce heart, had been planning this day for weeks. She had a reason, a very deliberate, emotional reason, why she wanted to have Bryan over at her house that day. Bryan, her young protege, someone she had watched grow almost like a son, had just gotten some life-changing news. He would soon be relocating abroad next year, chasing bigger dreams, opportunities that would take him far away from Nigeria. It was a bittersweet revelation for both of them. Uche Nancy felt proud, yes, but there was also that pang in her chest, a deep, maternal pang she couldn't ignore. She prepared her home meticulously. The living room was spotless, as always, but today it carried a certain warmth, a subtle glow from the afternoon sun that filtered through the sheer curtains. The aroma of spices filled the kitchen. Uche Nancy knew that food, for her, was love. She had decided that the day Bryan came over, she would feed him well, not just a meal, but a feast. When Bryan arrived, he was met with her signature smile, one that could disarm the hardest heart. "Bryan. My son. Come in, she called warmly. There was something in her tone, soft but firm, that made him feel immediately at home. He stepped in, slightly awkward, knowing the gravity of the day, but also excited. "Wow, Uche, your place looks amazing," Bryan said, taking in the aroma, the light, the small details, the flowers on the table, the fresh fruit arranged neatly in a bowl. Uche Nancy laughed, a sound that carried both joy and nostalgia. "Of course, Bryan. Today, we celebrate you. Before you leave, before you step into this new chapter of your life, I want you to feel loved, appreciated, fed properly," she said, gesturing toward the kitchen. And fed properly, he would be. The table was a riot of colors and textures. There was jollof rice, perfectly seasoned, fried plantains that were golden and caramelized to perfection, stewed chicken that had simmered in spices for hours, a fresh salad that looked almost too pretty to eat, and, of course, Uche Nancy's secret sauce that Bryan had always begged her for. As they sat down, Uche Nancy poured a glass of zobo for Bryan, and a tall glass of fresh orange juice for herself. "This is more than just food, Bryan. This is love, care, memory," she said, fixing him with a look that was both playful and serious. Bryan smiled, but his eyes betrayed the swirl of emotions inside him. He knew why this was happening. He knew that Uche Nancy had taken him under her wing not just because of his talent, but because she genuinely cared. Over the past few years, she had watched him struggle, celebrated his victories, and comforted him in his defeats. Today was a combination of all those moments, a farewell, a celebration, and a mother-son bonding all rolled into one. "You always do this, you know," Bryan said, reaching for the jollof rice. "You make everything feel special. Like this moment right now will stick with me forever." Uche Nancy chuckled, shaking her head. "That's because it will, Bryan. Trust me. Some moments are meant to stay with you. Some meals, some conversations, they linger in your soul even when you're thousands of miles away." As they ate, the conversation flowed naturally, like it always did with them. She asked him about his plans abroad, his fears, the things he was excited about. Bryan shared everything, even the tiniest anxieties about leaving his home country, leaving his family, his friends, and of course, her. Uche Nancy listened, nodding, sometimes interrupting with advice, other times with stories of her own struggles in the industry. She spoke about sacrifices, heartbreaks, victories, and the importance of holding on to yourself no matter where life takes you. At one point, Bryan looked at her with a serious expression. "Uche, I don't know if I'll ever find someone like you abroad. Someone who genuinely cares, who's not just about the business or the fame," his voice trailed off. Uche Nancy reached across the table and placed her hand over his. Bryan, you don't need to find me there. You carry what you've learned here, in your heart. I'm proud of you. And no matter where you are, I'll always be just a call away. That's the thing about family, it doesn't matter the distance. The air in the room shifted. There was silence, but it wasn't awkward. It was heavy with emotion, a silent acknowledgement of what was coming, a separation, albeit temporary, that felt monumental. After the meal, they moved to the living room. Bryan sank into the couch, still processing the warmth and care that had filled his afternoon. Uche Nancy joined him, settling on the armrest beside him. They talked about mundane things now, light conversations, but the unspoken tension of the impending goodbye lingered. You know, when I first met you, Uche Nancy said, staring at the window where the sunlight spilled in, I never imagined we'd end up here. Sharing moments like this. It's beautiful, isn't it? Bryan nodded, swallowing hard. It is, it really is. She smiled, and for a moment, she felt the pain of impending loss. He was growing, moving forward. And as much as it hurt, she knew this was the way it was supposed to be. You have to promise me one thing, Bryan, she said suddenly, her voice firm but gentle. Anything, he replied, alert to the seriousness in her tone. Promise me that you never forget to pause. To eat, to rest, to feel even when you're chasing your dreams. Success is important, yes, but your heart, your peace, those are non-negotiable. Bryan laughed softly. I promise, Uche. I'll try. They lingered in the quiet for a while. Then, out of nowhere, Uche Nancy got up and went to the kitchen. She returned with a small plate of plantains and a glass of water, insisting that Bryan have more before he left. I won't let you leave my house hungry, she teased, but her eyes betrayed the deeper sentiment, care, love, and a touch of sorrow. Bryan took the plate, shaking his head in mock protest, but secretly, he loved it. He knew that these small gestures, these seemingly trivial acts, were what made this day unforgettable. As the evening wore on, they moved to the balcony. The city lights were beginning to twinkle, and the cool breeze carried with it a sense of calm, a sense of closure. Uche Nancy and Bryan sat side by side, watching the night sky, each lost in their thoughts. Do you ever get scared? Bryan asked suddenly. Of what? She replied, curious. Of life, of change, of leaving everything behind. Uche Nancy paused. Every single day, Bryan. But fear isn't the enemy. It's a guide. It shows you where you need courage, where you need growth. And trust me, you have more courage than you think. He smiled, feeling comforted. It wasn't just a conversation, it was a transfer of wisdom, of love, of everything a mother would want to give her son before he steps into the unknown. As the night grew deeper, Uche Nancy finally stood, stretching. I think it's time you head home, Bryan. But before you go, she went to her drawer and pulled out a small gift, neatly wrapped. Something to remember today by. Something to remind you that no matter where you go, there's someone here who believes in you. Bryan took the gift with trembling hands. He didn't even need to ask what it was, he could feel the love in it. They hugged. It was a long, lingering hug, the kind that speaks volumes without words. It was the culmination of years of mentorship, friendship, and maternal care. A moment that would stay etched in both of their hearts forever. Thank you, Uche, Bryan whispered. For everything. She smiled, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. Go chase your dreams, Bryan. And don't forget, you're never alone. As he left, walking into the cool night, Uche Nancy watched him go. She felt pride, yes, but also that bittersweet twinge of impending absence. She knew that soon, Bryan would be thousands of miles away, living a life she had helped prepare him for. And while she would miss him, she also knew that this moment, the laughter, the meals, the conversations, the quiet balcony talks, was the memory that would carry them through the distance. And that, my people, is what true care, true love, and true mentorship look like. It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it's about feeding someone, listening to them, sharing your wisdom, and letting them leave your house feeling stronger, ready, and loved. So if you're watching this right now and you have someone you care about who's about to leave or take a big step, don't wait. Cook for them, talk to them, hug them, remind them they are not alone. Those moments, they last forever. Before we go, abeg hit that subscribe button if you know don't already, share this gist with your friends, and drop your comments below. Who else they feel this mother-son kind of love? Who else they tear up just imagining saying goodbye to someone you care about? Comment your thoughts, because this gist is sweet, deep, and it get lesson. And yes, stay tuned to Gist Dish TV, because the next story where they come, it go shock you.